Aquarius, before you do anything else today, I need you to hear this clearly. The next 72 hours are not ordinary. Between July 2nd and July 4th, 2026, the sky is going to compress an entire month's worth of tension, breakthrough, and emotional rewiring into 3 explosive days. And because Uranus, your ruling planet, is standing right at the center of the storm, you feel this more sharply than any other sign in the zodiac. This is the window where something that has felt stuck for months finally cracks open, where a conversation you've been avoiding suddenly happens, where a decision you've been circling for weeks demands an answer, and where the version of you that has been quietly rebelling on the inside finally starts showing up on the outside. So, take a breath, get comfortable, because in this video I'm going to walk you through exactly what's happening in your chart, day by day, hour by hour, and more importantly, what to actually do with it. Not vague reassurance, a real map for the most unpredictable 72 hours of your month. I'm going to be honest with you the whole way through, including the warnings, because I care more about you moving through this window intact than I do about telling you what you want to hear. Let's get into it. Welcome back to Aquarius Portal, the channel where we translate the sky into something you can actually live by. If you're an Aquarius Sun, an Aquarius Moon, or an Aquarius Rising, this reading is speaking directly to your chart. Rising signs especially, pay close attention, because the houses I mention will line up almost perfectly for you. And if this channel has ever put words to something you were feeling but couldn't explain, do me one small favor before we go deeper. Hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell. This particular transit window is fast moving, and I'll be posting follow-ups. You don't want to miss the timing. Now, quick, important note before we begin. Everything I'm sharing today is your general Aquarius forecast. It's real, it's accurate to the transits, and it will land for most of you. But your birth chart is a fingerprint. Nobody else on Earth has your exact placements, and a general reading can only take you so far. So here's how we work together one-on-one at Aquarius Portal. And I want you to know your options before this window hits, not after. Birth chart reading, your complete cosmic blueprint. We map your sun, moon, rising, and every major placement so you finally understand why you are the way you are. Relationship compatibility reading. For you and a partner, a crush, a co-parent, or a business partner. We overlay both charts and show you exactly where you flow and where you friction. Soulmate reading, timing, signs, and the energetic profile of the connection your chart is pointing you toward. Perfect if this Venus-Lilith window has you thinking about love. Career reading, your vocational path, your timing for big moves, and how to work with Uranus instead of getting blindsided by it. Question-based personal guidance. You have one burning question. You get one clear chart-based answer. Fast, focused, honest. And if you want ongoing support, I also offer monthly, yearly, and full life forecast readings, so you always know what's coming before it arrives. To book any of these, just tap the WhatsApp chat link in the description box below this video and send me a message. Tell me your birth date, time, and place, and we'll take it from there. Simple as that. Now, back to the sky. Here's the shape of what's coming, so you can see the whole arc before we zoom in. July 2nd is the day of tension and shadow. 3 separate aspects: Jupiter square Chiron, Venus trine Lilith, and Mars square the Gemini node. All fire, and they pull in different directions. One wants to expand you. One wants to seduce you. One wants to provoke you. It's friction, but it's productive friction if you know what you're looking at. July 3rd is the build-up, the strange humming quiet in the middle. Nothing exact goes off, but the pressure is climbing. This is the day of restraint, the day you either hold your center or blow it early. July 4th is detonation and pivot. Mars conjuncts Uranus, your ruler, and this is the peak of unpredictability for the entire month. Then later, the moon slides into Pisces, and the whole energy drops from high-voltage rebellion into deep, quiet, intuitive processing. So the emotional journey is friction, then pressure, then breakthrough, then landing. If you can hold that map in your mind, you will move through this window with far more grace than the people around you. Let's take it one day at a time. Jupiter square Chiron, the ache underneath the ambition. We open on July 2nd with Jupiter squaring Chiron. And Aquarius, this one lives in the gap between how big you want to go and how worthy you secretly feel of getting there. Jupiter is the part of you that dreams in capital letters, the expansion, the belief, the why not me, why not now. Chiron is the old wound, the tender place, the story you picked up somewhere along the way that whispered you weren't quite enough. When they square off, the dream and the wound get in the same room and start arguing. Here's how it actually feels. You get a burst of vision, a new goal, a bigger plan, a sense that your life could be so much more. And then, almost immediately, a wave of doubt crashes in. Who am I to want this? What if I fail publicly? What if I'm exposed as not knowing enough? That crash isn't proof you're wrong. It's Chiron surfacing the exact wound you're being asked to heal before you scale up. Because that's the real invitation of this square. It's not asking you to shrink your dream. It's asking you to build it on a foundation of genuine self-worth instead of something you're trying to prove. The Aquarians who thrive under this transit are the ones who let the old story surface, look at it honestly, and choose to move forward anyway. Not from bravado, but from a quieter, more grounded confidence. So if July 2nd hands you a moment of I'm not ready, pause. Ask whether that's genuine intuition or an old wound talking. 9 times out of 10 this week, it's the wound. And wounds don't get to run your future. Now the tone shifts, because on the same day, Venus makes a beautiful humming trine to Lilith, and this is one of the more delicious aspects of the whole window. Lilith is the wild, untamed, unapologetic part of you, the part that refuses to perform, refuses to shrink, refuses to be palatable just to keep others comfortable. When Venus, the planet of love, beauty, magnetism, and money, flows easily with her, something in you stops asking for permission. Aquarius, you might notice this as a sudden surge of personal magnetism. You feel more you, more attractive, more sure, less interested in playing small to fit in. People feel it too. You become the person in the room who's simply not trying to be liked, which, ironically, makes you irresistible. In relationships, this can activate powerful, even taboo attractions. The connection that doesn't fit the script. The person who intrigues the part of you that lives outside the rules. In your finances and your pleasures, it can pull you toward unconventional choices, a different way of earning, spending, or valuing yourself that has nothing to do with what you were taught. The gift here is permission to want what you want without apologizing for it. The caution, which we'll come back to in the warnings, is that a trine makes things feel good and easy, and good and easy is not always the same as wise. Enjoy the magnetism. Just keep one hand on the wheel. And honestly, if this Venus-Lilith energy stirs up serious questions about love, attraction, or a specific connection, this is exactly what a soulmate reading or relationship compatibility reading is built for. But hold that thought. More on that later. The third piece of July 2nd is the sharpest. Mars squaring the North Node in Gemini. This is the friction aspect. The one that can make an otherwise interesting day feel like sandpaper. Mars is raw drive, the urge to act right now. The Gemini node is your collective path forward through communication, curiosity, learning, and connection. When Mars squares it, where impulses and your destined direction pull at cross purposes. You want to charge. The path wants you to listen first. In real life, this shows up as communication breakdowns. Messages get misread. Tones get sharper than you meant. You try to force a creative or intellectual project, a piece of writing, a conversation, a pitch, a plan, and it just won't move, and the harder you push, the more it jams. There's also a mental restlessness to this. Too many tabs open in your mind, too much you want to say, not enough patience for the pace reality is offering. The frustration is real. But the node is teaching you something specific here. The fastest route is not always through force. Sometimes the destined move is to slow down, ask the question instead of making the statement, and let the information come to you before you act on it. So on July 2nd, if you hit a wall with words or with people, don't ram it. Step back. The wall usually isn't the problem. The pushing is. And then comes July 3rd, the strange, quiet middle. Here's the thing about the 3rd. Nothing exact fires. And that's precisely why it's tricky. The tension of the 2nd hasn't dissolved. It's still humming in your body. But the release of the 4th hasn't arrived yet either. You're standing in the pressurized quiet between the two. The calm before the storm. Aquarius, this is the day that tests your restraint. Because when there's unresolved charge in the system and no clear outlet, the temptation is to manufacture one, to pick the fight, to send the impulsive message, to make the dramatic decision just to break the tension. Don't. That's not resolution. That's you flinching early and paying for it later. Instead, treat July 3rd as an observation day. Watch your emotional triggers without acting on every one. Notice what is pushing your buttons and why. Because the things that irritate you most right now are pointing straight at what's about to shift on the 4th. The 3rd is showing you the material. The 4th is where it moves. Practically. Keep your commitments loose. Don't sign the thing, send the ultimatum, or quit in a blaze of glory today. Journal instead. Walk. Move the restless energy through your body rather than dumping it onto the people around you. If you can hold your center through the 3rd, if you can sit in the discomfort without discharging it prematurely, you arrive at the 4th with your power intact and your options open. That's the whole assignment for July 3rd. Hold. Feel it, name it, but don't fire. And now we reach it. July 4th, the peak. Mars conjoins Uranus, and Aquarius, this is your aspect. Uranus is your ruling planet, the planet of sudden change, liberation, genius, rebellion, and the lightning bolt that rearranges everything in a single instant. When fiery, impulsive Mars meets it head-on, you get the single most unpredictable moment of your month. This is the energy of the breakthrough, the sudden "I'm done" that's been building for months. The urge to completely overhaul your routine, to rebel against an authority that's been squeezing you, to sever a tie that's felt restrictive for far too long. It can feel electric, like the ceiling suddenly lifts and you can breathe in a way you haven't in ages. And the genius potential here is enormous. Uranus rules innovation and flashes of insight, and under this conjunction you can solve in a single afternoon what you've been chewing on for a year. A technological breakthrough, a creative leap, a realization that changes your whole trajectory. Aquarius, you are wired for exactly this frequency, which is why when it comes, it can feel less like a shock and more like a homecoming. But, and this is the essential warning we'll expand on shortly, Mars-Uranus is also the aspect of the impulsive, irreversible move. The disruption that comes from outside you, the unexpected news, the sudden change of plans, the external event that reroutes your day. The trick with this transit is to ride the liberation without setting fire to things you'll wish you hadn't. Channel the lightning. Don't get struck by it. We'll talk about exactly how in the warnings. For now, just know, whatever breaks open on July 4th was probably ready to break. Uranus doesn't create the crack, it just reveals where the structure was already weak. And then, mercifully, the moon enters Pisces, and the entire energy of these 72 hours changes key. We go from high-voltage rebellion to deep, quiet, intuitive processing in what feels like a single breath. The adrenaline drains. The noise softens. Suddenly, you don't want to fight or fix or rebel. You want to feel, to rest, to be near water or music or silence, to let your nervous system come down from the ceiling. For Aquarius, this Pisces moon draws your focus toward your second house, the house of resources, money, and self-worth, and that's no accident. After the chaos of Mars-Uranus, the sky is asking you a grounding question. Now that the dust is settling, what do you actually value? What's worth keeping? What's worth rebuilding? So July 4th ends not with a bang, but with a slow exhale. This is the night to reassess your finances gently, to tend to your sense of worth, and to give your overstimulated system real rest. Don't make more big moves here. You've done the breaking. Now, you let yourself land. The most powerful thing you can do on the evening of the 4th is nothing at all. Just presence, stillness, and a little spiritual quiet. Let the Pisces moon stitch you back together. Before the warnings, a small practical tool you can actually use. Your colors for these 72 hours. Electric blue. This is pure Uranian, pure Aquarian frequency. Wear it, surround yourself with it, or simply visualize it when you need to channel the breakthrough energy of July 4th, consciously rather than chaotically. Electric blue helps you access the genius and the clarity of Uranus without getting swept into its recklessness. It's the color of the lightning bolt held steady in your hand. Charcoal gray. This is your grounding anchor. When the energy spikes and everything feels erratic, charcoal gray steadies you. It absorbs the excess charge, keeps you sober in your decisions, and reminds your nervous system that not every impulse needs to become an action. Reach for it especially on July 3rd, the build-up day, and on the evening of the 4th as you come down. Electric blue to channel the lightning, charcoal gray to hold the ground. Between the two, you have both the spark and the stability to move through this window well. Aquarius, I would be doing you a disservice if I sent you into these 3 days without the honest cautions. So here they are, plainly. 1. Do not make sudden, irreversible decisions about your career or your relationships under the Mars-Uranus conjunction. The urge to blow it all up on July 4th will feel intoxicating, like freedom, like truth, like finally. And sometimes it genuinely is time. But irreversible is the key word. Quitting in a rage, ending a relationship in a single heated moment, torching a bridge you might need, these feel righteous in the lightning and look very different a week later. If a change is truly right, it will still be right on July 6th, made from a calmer place. Give the big one 72 hours before you commit. 2. Guard your communication during the Mars node square. Around the 2nd especially, your words will run hotter and sharper than you intend. The defensive comeback, the cutting remark, the message you fire off before thinking, these can do damage that outlasts the transit. Before you hit send, before you snap back, pause and ask, am I responding or am I reacting? This one square can cost you a relationship if you let your tongue move faster than your awareness. 3. Pace yourself or the energy will burn you out. This window runs on erratic, spiking, high-voltage energy, and your nervous system is not built to hold that at full throttle for 3 days straight. Over-caffeinating, undersleeping, and pushing through the restlessness will lead to a hard crash, the kind that steals the entire week after. Build in rest before you're depleted. Slow your output on purpose. The goal is to arrive at the Pisces moon replenished, not wrecked. Hold those 3, and you'll move through the storm as its captain instead of its casualty. Before we close, let me answer the 3 questions I know a lot of you are already typing into the comments. Question 1. I don't have Mercury or major planets in Aquarius. Will I still feel all of this? Yes, especially if you're Aquarius Sun, Moon, or Rising. The Sun is your core identity, the Moon is your emotional world, and the Rising is the lens you meet life through. So any of those three will carry this window strongly. Where it gets precise is in the houses these transits activate for your specific chart. And that's exactly the kind of detail a personal reading pins down. But feel it? Absolutely. You will. Question 2. What if the breakthrough on July 4th doesn't come as a big dramatic event? Then, that's a good sign. Not a bad one. Not every Uranus moment is external fireworks. For many Aquarians, this lands as an internal shift, a sudden knowing, a quiet decision that everything hinges on, a switch that flips inside you. Internal breakthroughs are often the most durable ones, because nobody can take them from you. Don't wait for the sky to fall. Watch for the moment your own mind changes. Question 3. I feel the tension, but I don't know which area of my life it's hitting hardest. How do I find out? This is the most common question I get, and the honest answer is that it depends entirely on your houses, which depend on your exact birth time. The general forecast tells you the weather. Your chart tells you which room of your house the rain is coming through. If you want that level of specificity, where exactly this window is pressing in your life, that's precisely what a personal reading is for. And I'll tell you how to get one right now. Aquarius, here's the truth. These 72 hours are going to move whether you're ready or not. The question is whether you move with them consciously or get moved by them. And the single best way to walk in prepared is to know what this window is doing in your specific chart, not just the general Aquarius one. So if anything in this reading landed, if you felt that flicker of, "That's me," this is your invitation. Tap the WhatsApp chat link in the description box and reach out. Whether you want a full birth chart reading, a relationship compatibility or soulmate reading, a career reading, or just fast, focused, question-based guidance on the one thing weighing on you, I'll map it to your exact placements and give you a real plan for these 3 days and beyond. And if you want to always stay ahead of the sky, ask me about the monthly, yearly, and full life forecast readings too. Before you go, like this video if it helped, subscribe to Aquarius Portal, and turn on the bell so the follow-up reaches you in time. And drop one word in the comments. Tell me which of these 3 days you're most nervous about. I read every single one. Electric blue for the spark. Charcoal gray for the ground. Ride the lightning, Aquarius. Don't let it ride you. I'll see you in the next one. Take care of yourself out there.